Of all the teams over the years that I've wished I'd chosen when I was living in the middle of nowhere and could have settled on any team, but landed on the Lions, the Vikings had always kind of been near the forefront of that. It's probably why I hate them so much now. See, I've got Norwegian ancestry, so thematically this would have worked in terms of tattoos. Nobody's looking at a Vikings tattoo and asking if that's your zodiac sign, which is the inevitable question when I'm wearing something that actually lets someone see the Lions tattoo on my right thigh, which is, rest assured, not very often. Anyway, here's around the division for the Minnesota Vikings offseason. Let's start at the end. The swap of Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold alone would have been enough for me to put the Vikings firmly in fourth place in this division. Whereas the Bears might get some highlights from Caleb Williams, we know exactly what Sam Darnold is, which is a person who creates highlights for the other team. And we know what this offense looks like with a poor decision maker under center. How many picks did the Lions have against them last year? 7? I didn't look it up, but I think that's the right number in 2 games. Like, don't get me twisted. This offense is going to put up some points unless they have a rash of injuries in their skill guys. But the Vikings offense got its foundation ripped out by the throat this offseason. Darnold isn't likely to get you to a position of needing a big play from him. He's just not good enough as a player to keep your team in games consistently. And if the rest of the team does get you there, he's definitely not going to make the play to put them over the top. So the rest of what I'm about to say, which is actually fairly complimentary, probably doesn't matter. Vikings pass catchers, they might be the best ones in the division. And I really like what the Bears did, but like if we were playing a version of NFL Street where you got the quarterback, 2 wideouts, and a tight end, this would be one of the top 5 teams in the league, but they'd lose because of all the interceptions. And I think that's the theme for this team this year. Like, Justin Jefferson deserves every single penny that they paid him and probably more. When he went out last year, Jordan Addison carried the team on his back. And I mean, he's had some issues this offseason, but he'll play most of the year undoubtedly. And those 2 guys, like, they create enough room for TJ Hawkinson to tear the inside of a defense apart. And outside of that is where the rest of this fails. Once running backs start getting hurt, they don't stop the vast majority of the time. And that's where Aaron Jones is in his career. He has been getting hurt. So while he's playing, he's a valuable add. But we have absolutely no idea how long that's going to be or how effective he's going to be while that's happening because of the next thing I'm about to talk about here. How do you compound a jumpy and sometimes seemingly colorblind quarterback? You have a trash interior offensive line. And Lions fans can rejoice here because the Vikings do. They've got Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill on the edges. And inside the sandwich between them is a pile of just straight up garbage. Like, I don't even honestly see the point in naming these guys. I'll flash some pictures up on the screen. If you recognize them, you're probably related. Because these guys are going to spend a year or 2 in Minnesota before being relegated to another team's bench or a practice squad, if they're lucky. This is what I like to refer to as the wrong way to build a team. And I mean, I recall being told by some very intelligent people who all had models regarding player and positional value and things like that, that all of the moves Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensa has made were brilliant. But like, let's review where we're at here. In year one, he rode the roster brought together by former GM Rick Spielman, last name of, note to Lions fans, obviously. But basically, he rode that guy's roster to a pile of lucky wins, and so everyone decided he was a genius. But since he's actually, revamped the entire offense, except for the one receiver that Spielman picked that is the best receiver, and the vast majority of the defense has also been turned over. And as I sit here looking at this roster, I can't find a lot of results that I like. Outside of those receivers, that is. But Lord help them if those guys start getting hurt, because there is no depth here. Their one beacon of hope is their defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. He's got some guys to throw at quarterbacks, which is all he ever needs to have a successful defense. Jonathan Gennard, Andrew Van Ginkel, rookie Dallas Turner. These are guys who are going to bring some heat. And the big guys up front, Jonathan Bullard, Harrison Phillips, Jerry Tillery, that's a nice list of names to put as far as your front five guys goes. And I mean, they signed Stephon Gilmore a little bit late in the offseason. They got Shaq Griffin. They got Byron Murphy, which seems like exactly the set of corners you would want to have in 2019. But what do they have left in the tank at this point? We don't really know. They're not all old per se. Griffin's relatively young. He's under 30, but he's got one interception in the last 3 seasons. Gilmore used to be the guy who didn't get a lot of picks some years because nobody would throw at him. And he still does bat balls down. That's I will give him that. As far as passes defense go, he's still got the goods. But Flores is going to piece something together here. His suicidal blitz rates last year show that he'll lean into whatever he can find that this team is actually capable of doing and might work. Unlike a lot of the old New England guys, he seems to understand that the best play to call is the one that your guys can execute. Yeah, of course, that was a shot at Matt Patricia. May he never coach a professional team again for what he did to our beloved Detroit Lions. And I mean, Harrison Smith is still there. Who knows what he can do? I'm going to leave it at that. I have the Vikings as a 6-win team, 4th in the division. Their defense is going to be fine, might even be good. Their offense will go as far as quarterback Sam Darnold can throw them. And that's going to be for a pick 6.